Hi, I'm Booker T. Jones, and welcome to What's in My Bag.
I'm hurting deep down inside, baby. Won't you by my side? 'Cause I love you. 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 And I never let you go.
Here I have an album by Steve Cropper entitled Dedicated.
This is dedicated to one I love.
Who is Steve Cropper? Steve Cropper was probably the first person to ever play a record for me in the Satellite record store. And that was his after-school job in Memphis, and I was throwing papers at Satellite Records. And he became the staff guitar player and producer for Stax Records, and also the guitar player in my band Booker T and the MGs. Dedicated, Steve Cropper. And I doubt if I'd be sitting here today in Amoeba if it weren't for this fellow here. This guy played an instrument called the Hammond B3 organ. And I first encountered one at my teacher's house, my piano teacher's house, when I was 8 or 9 years old. I had heard it before on the radio. I'd heard Ray Charles playing Hammond M3 organ. He was in Quincy Jones's band at the time, and he played organ on a song called 1 Minute Julep that Quincy arranged. And I heard it on the radio and I thought, what a great sound. If I could do that with my life, I would be so happy. So I'm sitting here today, I'm a happy man, because that's what I've done with my life, is try to imitate people like him on Hammond organ. And here I have Gil Scott-Heron. The revolution will not be televised. Why do I have this? Because I consider him to be one of the precursors of rap music, although he's listed in the jazz section. I don't think rap music would be what it is today without Gil Scott-Heron.
The revolution will not be televised.
And this person here is George Shearing. He was a blind pianist from, I think, North Carolina. He never saw what he was doing, but I imitated his style of having, I'll give you a few little musical terms, the tonic on the top and the tonic on the bottom, and all the notes in between was the way he played chords on the piano. And I have emulated that style all through my life, especially the piano I played on Willie Nelson's album, Willie Nelson's Stardust album is in this style. And so one of my heroes, George Shearing. And now here I have Vivaldi. Italian rock star, for lack of a better word, who influenced me and countless others. At Indiana University, in the basement, they had a music library there that was open 24 hours a day. And you could go down there and listen to Vivaldi, and the music would just, the rules would just saturate you. The rules of counterpoint, the rules of music theory, because he was almost like a Beethoven, an Italian Beethoven counterpoint, as far as that went, with a little more flair. Finlandia, Jean Sibelius. Another European, I would say maybe Sibelius did with emotions what Stravinsky did with a paintbrush. Sibelius was the first one to make me feel the classical music and have a real emotion just by listening to music. His Finlandia was one of the first symphonic pieces I played as a young man. And of course now he's very famous as they named the musical software after him, Sibelius, but very close to my heart. So I'm very happy to have this to be able to take this home. Bob Dylan, Highway 61 revisited. I can remember driving down the 405 South, actually moving on the 405 South in a rainstorm, and hearing the piano come on the radio in the early 60s. I'd come out to California, and thinking that this is the most irreverent music I have ever heard on the radio. And it was Bob Dylan and the band doing Like a Rolling Stone.
Like a rolling stone.
And of course, I eventually met all these guys when I went out to Shangri-La in Malibu. But yeah, he came and hung out at my ranch some. He had a ranch across the street when I lived in Malibu, in Paradise Cove, and I had a ranch over on Winding Way. And he liked my old Craig tape recorder. My then wife had burnt the speaker out of it, and it had all a fuzzy sound, and Bob plugged his guitar in it. He liked the way the guitar sounded in that old messed up speaker. But yeah, and they took me to see a long movie they had made one day. What was the name of the movie? I can't remember it.
Ronaldo and Sarah.
What was it?
Ronaldo and Sarah.
Ronaldo and Sarah, yeah, 3-hour movie. Yeah. And wouldn't be here without this guy.
Tell me what I say, yeah. Tell me what I say.
This is the guy that played the Hammond M3 organ in Quincy Jones's band that influenced me to find the sound that I wanted to identify with and do with my life, and was able to do it. But this is a great album, recorded live at night at a stadium with Leroy Cooper on baritone sax and Fathead Newman playing saxophone, and just a great band, great material. Ray Charles, in person. Shostakovich. My mother played Shostakovich for me before I could remember. Her mother was a piano teacher. And this is what I would see when I walked into the living room on the stand, Dmitri Shostakovich. And this music is some of the first music I heard, and I didn't have any, so now I do. John Coltrane. I heard John Coltrane the first time with my friend Maurice White when we were kids listening to albums. We had this album in my den, and Richard Chan was playing piano. We had a little trio there in Memphis, and Maurice was playing drums. And this is my influence to try to pick up a saxophone. John Coltrane. Pavarotti, the Italian heartfelt singers with the huge vocal cords and the big lungs and the passion. The music that came from Italy, from people like this, huge influence in my life. Albert King.
Can't make you love me, no matter what I do.
Probably my greatest advocate at Stax Records, a person who tried to take care of me in so many ways. I recorded my songs, but always wanted to make sure everything was okay with me. Called me till he died, just, Booker, how are you doing? Just one of the most gentle people. And probably I got the biggest thrill of playing music in the studio with anyone from him, just by the way he pulled the strings and played his guitar. He was the most dynamic guitarist I ever worked with. And the singer, he had an Arthur Prysock type of smooth voice. He could sing the ballads. He got to do about a tenth of what he was capable of. Great man, and so proud to have worked with him. Albert King. John Coltrane, we talked about him. John Coltrane. I think that's it. I'm so happy with this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I've got so much good stuff to listen to. It's just been great record store here. Great thing. I've had a great time.
Thank you so much for coming in and shopping with us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure.
I've been down since I began to crawl. If it wasn't for bad that one, I wouldn't have no luck at all.